Hi, welcome to Headphones On Podcast. I'm Hunter,
I'm Juan.
and today we're going to be talking about Spy X Family. More so just our overall opinions so far on the show, the first 5 episodes, if it's deserving of the praise that it's getting, which is a fuck ton of praise.
Or is it just completely overhyped and it's just a regular mid-level show?
Yeah. And if it's has the possibility of becoming a 10 out of 10 show, which everyone's pretty much rating it right now. So let's get right into it. We'll start off with like our regular thoughts about the show so far. So Juan, what do you think so far?
So overall, so far, to me, easily, this season is number one. As far as animation, is great. I won't go as far as saying it's mind-blowing, like how Demon Slayer was or anything like that, but it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Enough for me to like, oh, this is a nice animation.
Okay.
Story-wise, I'm really intrigued with the story, how the story is going to continue. I'm more intrigued with the whole actual family itself instead of like the whole saving the world thing, because that took a major backseat because you just want to know more about the family and the whole shenanigans that happens with that. One of the biggest things is the action. It's actually really good for a show that's not like action heavy, or I'm expecting it to be like an action heavy like show. Same thing with the comedy. I laugh my ass off every single time I watch a show, episode when the jokes always hit.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of hard because a lot of times with these shows, the jokes just completely go over your head, or it's just like that wasn't funny at all.
Or the same types of jokes that are used in every single show ever.
Mm-hmm.
So for me personally, I think that this show is it's good. I really, really enjoy it. It's probably one of like 2 shows every week that I'm looking forward to watching, and I every single time it's instant like fuck every other show. This is the show to watch, like, or I have to save it for last. Because if I watch the other shows first,
and then you watch like Skeleton Night,
yeah, and then I go into Spy X, or if I watch Spy X Family, and then I go into Skeleton Night, I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, it makes everything feel so
bland,
inferior, and bland. And when you don't watch Spy X Family first, you're like, yeah, and it kind of like also makes me wonder like how much we're like accustomed to just mediocrity. To where like we're like, you know what, this show's actually pretty good, and then you watch Spy X Family, you're like, no, it was not. That show was kind of ass.
Yeah, you get those shows that it's good for that season, but you're gonna forget about it, and then you get shows like Spy X Family where after this season you're still gonna remember it.
Yeah, and so it's kind of just I like, for me, I agree with 100% with what you're saying, which is I don't think that the show is not deserving of what it's getting. Like, I do think it is. I know people are rating it super high right now. I think it's like the number 3 show on Mal. And
Is it really?
Yeah, I think so. And we have like a friend who's like, it doesn't deserve it. It's too early. And obviously, yeah, it's going to change. Like, when the season ends, I'm fully expecting this to drop to maybe like the 20s or the teens. I don't expect it to stay.
It's number 2.
It's number 2. Yeah. Maybe it'll stay in the 10s. Maybe, if people don't review bomb the show. But
they already are.
I mean, it's not doing shit if it's number 2.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna see it's a whole bunch of 1s, which that show has no business ever getting reviewed as a 1.
No. The lowest I could see someone rating this show is an 8. At 8. I don't see someone giving this a 7. And if they do, I don't get it personally. Because I think it just does so well of firing on all cylinders with like, just like you said, the action is actually very smoothly animated. Like both Wit and Cloverworks really did such a fantastic job making everything feel so smooth. And although that the animation itself might not be like what you're saying, like mind blowing, I think it's better for that. Like, I like how they're able to do a lot more with the animation that they have because it's not like that in that particular thing, if that makes sense. Like, I like how it's a bit more, I don't want to use the word cartoony looking, but it allows it to have like the fluidity of their movements and stuff like that be better because of it, in my opinion. And I also think, are you reading bad reviews?
I just saw the 1 review and the man like, okay, let me see what this man has to say about it. And literally the top 1, the personalities of the characters are not natural to me.
That's whatever.
That's Anya is adorable. So what? 1 out of 10. Like, this is why I can't stand these review sites, man.
It's funny because that's actually an idea for a video that I want to do where we read bad Mal reviews, but that's for the future. Where we'll do that for the future. But yeah, I would say that for me, the characters are just so likable. Anya's fucking hilarious. I think that Lloyd is like also hilarious without meaning to be, and I think that kind of seeing his guard slowly break down as he gets closer and closer and closer to Yor and Anya, like it's a very nice thing, and it's a very kind of cliche story when you think about it, where it's just this battle-hardened like spy, has to recruit this fake family, and they have to become a natural family.
His shell breaks down, to the family. But I think the fact that they're still quote unquote pretending is the aspect that they're still on a mission, obviously, with it.
Like, it's cliche, but the characters are so fucking good. I don't care. Like, that's how good the show is, and even like the small things, like when Anya, like the start of the 5th episode, which this whole episode's gonna be spoilers, by the way. So if you haven't watched the show, like, hey, what are you doing? Like every single one of my friends, besides Carlos, on the ones and twos, is watching this show. Like everybody's watching this show. Even like friends that I have that barely watch anime are watching the show. But like the 5th episode starts with Anya literally being like, "Oh, Dad," and the dad's like, "What?" She's like, "I stepped in shit."
The bad luck.
Yeah, it's bad luck. It's all because I stepped in shit.
I'm so sorry.
It's like all the small things that, even like the things that would be like considered a throwaway joke, are just so good. And that's the thing where it kind of goes back into what I'm saying with like where we kind of like accept mediocrity is like you start to realize, damn, what if Spy X Family, or in my head, I think about this, what if Spy X Family isn't like a 10, but what if it's like a strong 9 or an 8, but we think everything else is like a 7 or an 8, but it's really just like a 5 or a 6.
But it's not really like that.
And like you kind of trick yourself because you watch so many of these shows that you start to be like, if one thing kind of stands out or another thing, like you're like, oh, okay, that's actually pretty good.
That's why I was reading one thing where like you watch, let's say like a show that aired this season.
Yeah.
You watch the season, you review it after it's finished, right? Mm. Then you go to the next season, whatever season, and after that season's over, go back to the show you watched the previous seasons ago and see if you're still reviewed the same way.
Yeah.
Because 9 out of 10, it's most likely not going to be the same. If for shows that are like a 7 or an 8, they're usually more going more down.
That's what's been happening to me lately, where a lot of shows, I mean, I tell you my scores all the time for shows, and I'll be like, okay, this show is like a 7 or an 8. And one show that I kind of really changed my mind on drastically, I mean, it's still a high score, but it's actually Tokyo Revengers, where
really?
It was like a low 9 for me, but I was like, this is like an A tier show. I really enjoy it. I like the characters. As time has kind of gone on, and it's been like a month since I finished Tokyo Revengers, or like a month and some change, and I really don't think about that show that often. Like, it's good, and I do like the characters. I wish the kids weren't 13 and 14.
Yeah. Actually, I think they're younger because they're middle schoolers.
Yeah. But like, I started to find myself not really thinking about the show as much, and my scores change like all the time. And Spy X Family, like, I feel like is the only show in my mind that I can for sure be like, no, like, I'm always thinking about the show. I can't wait for the next episode, and by the time the season's end, similar to you, I'll wait until after to see how I feel later on down the road, if it's still going to be at that level. But I think it will be. Like, I do think that this will stand the test of time, because in my opinion, Wit does not miss. Like, Wit has always like knocked it out of the park with like Vinland Saga and Attack on Titan. And Ranking of Kings is apparently fucking fantastic, even though we haven't seen it. But
yeah, it's on my list. It's definitely something I heard nothing but good things from the show.
And Clover is always good. So like,
that's still my favorite one.
Yeah,
Hunting Clover.
So it's just like they're both just knocking it out of the park. And every time I go on my Facebook, every time I go on like Instagram or anything that you could possibly think of, it's always just memes of fucking Anya and her smug face. It's always Yor and a bunch of guys lusting after Yor. And that is her name, right?
Yor, yeah.
Yeah.
Yor.
And then fucking not as much stuff on Lloyd, but a lot of people just think he's really cool. I have seen some cool cosplays of Lloyd already.
Yeah, I see
Yeah.
it.
And I've seen some cool cosplays for Yor too.
Oh, really? I haven't
Yeah.
seen that actually.
But
Oh, wait, I lied. I saw one when in her like assassin gear thing. Yeah.
I saw one video on Instagram where it was this guy who put himself in the scene where she, you know, when that like lady who's an asshole is trying to ruin her thing with like the pretending of Lloyd being her boyfriend. And she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna tell your brother you don't have your boyfriend."
Yeah.
Where the scene where her leg is up, he put himself in the scene, smacked her thigh, licked her thigh. It was like, "Yeah, that's good." And then right afterwards, someone reacted to it. It's like, What's wrong with you? Why would you do this?" And they're like, "This shit's getting next level now," where they're inserting themselves into it. It's just like
it's the like why?
I don't know, man. People are weird, but like I know that that's the battle right now is because last season was Marin, but this season it's Anya and Yor for best girl. But a lot of people are like lusting after Yor right now.
Yeah,
they're just like no, that's number one wife right now. But that's what I was gonna say. That was one of my can't talk. One of my favorite things about episode 5 was, which I texted you, is you do not fuck with drunk Yor.
Oh no, yeah.
Like when she got up and he was like, "Oh, here's the witch or whatever. She's the last part." And then he's like, "Oh, okay." And then she's like stumbling over there with her like red ass eyes, and I'm like, "Oh no, she's about to fuck this dude up." And then she starts comboing his bitch ass.
The first kick, is like the shock vacuum, and like you see him get cut. It's like okay, whatever. When she starts throwing like uppercuts and stuff, like it's like literally in the middle of a combo, like you said, in a combo, like a boxer. Like yo, this poor man, and his gloves are like literally disintegrating because he keeps blocking.
Like it straight up turned into fucking Baki or some shit. Like this, I loved like once again how smooth the fighting is and how it looks. Like I'm so used to shows like, and I don't mean to drag this show through the fucking mud, and I'm so sorry because I really do like the first season of the show. The second season is kind of lacking. Is Shield Hero. Shield Hero has never really been about its action. Like it's very like stiff, or it's like a slice, or
it's more for the story.
They'll do like that thing where it's like a pose in the air and like ah, and then you just like it just shows the person getting hit, but you don't actually like see the person like actually take
it's because it's like almost like a magical battle, like the blast, I guess you could say.
Yeah, like you could tell that they're really saving their budget for like later on down the season. But for like I hope so too. It's kind of slacking, but that's another.
That's a whole other video of like.
It's not bad. It's just so
it's mediocre.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
It's whatever. But like Spy X Family, like even like it just makes everything so entertaining. And I love the episode where they do their exam and like it has no action at all. It's literally just them interviewing for this job, and you have like the older man who's like the teacher, one of the teachers there,
the headmasters.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, he's so gentlemanly or something.
Elegant.
Yeah, elegant. That was the word he used. And then gentlemanly.
Yeah, I don't know where you're going with that, but okay.
No, I can't talk today. But like, he was like, so elegant. And then that one asshole guy was just going like super deep, like with the questions on Anya and like getting like really personal, and like in that moment you really start to see what like how much both Yor and Lloyd really care about her. Especially fucking Yor, who was like straight up about to fucking eviscerate these people. Those people were about to get fucking deleted in 2 seconds.
See, I think the more things with Lloyd, because Yor, like, she doesn't have a quote mission besides just continuing her assassination, so she could fuck him up and then has no real.
She went claws out.
Yeah, like, but she didn't do anything. Lloyd was literally in his head, be like, think of the mission. You have your mission. Yeah. Don't get upset. When he's literally like punches his body standing up. Even before that, when he's straight up on a deck, this man is like, nah. Fuck this mission.
And I like how like it feels like the writers are just super clever in the way that they present these situations. So like she's like, oh, I need the answer. So she's like, I'm just gonna read Lloyd's mind, and he's just gonna say it in his out in his mind or whatever. and she says everything he says back to the headmaster, but completely fucking
Like
wrong.
gibberish.
Like it's like all gibberish or whatever. And it's like small details like that where you could really tell that they pay attention to. Like, no, this is a 4-year-old still. Like, she's not gonna be like this perfect, like illiterate person, like or literate person. She's gonna be super illiterate. She's gonna be all over the place. She's not gonna know what she's gonna do. She's gonna panic. Like, they do a lot of things that I think are very well done. And we neither of us have read the manga, but apparently from everybody else, what everybody else is saying is that it's very faithful. It's very
like word for word, and
yeah.
The only thing that said is this episode 5 with the castle it was very small in the manga compared to the anime. The anime did a whole ass episode of it, and the manga was maybe like 5 pages or something like that. Like, it was real short.
But I'm so glad that they did, though, because like it was so much fun. Like, and especially seeing him, like, he really doesn't want to portray the spy character that she watches on her show. And
Bond Man.
Yeah. And he literally is like taking dudes out, fucking getting their guns, shooting their other people, dual wielding, doing all this shit with like these toy guns and stuff like that. And like I like how he has to answer the questions. Otherwise he has to put on the outfit or whatever. And he's like, "Oh, what's her favorite food?" And he's like, "Oh shit."
So he got that one right, the peanut.
Yeah, he got the peanut, but then he got like the other 2 wrong.
Well, yeah, I remember.
What is she thinking right now?
Right? Yeah, and then he was like, "Oh, about how to, do this," and she's like, "I'm thirsty." I just want one.
To be honest, that was not the answer I was thinking. I thought she was gonna have like a very like oh, what, like thinking about like family and stuff like that, or the spy show. And she's like, "Oh, I just want a water." And then I forgot the other question where he like lost.
It's the very first question. I just don't remember.
Yeah. But regardless, like the whole episode was very, very cool because every time with Spy X Family, I'm always like, I don't know if this is just bad because I keep expecting at one point, because every other show this season has had an episode or 2 where it's not been the best. Like, I like Tomodachi Game, but the first episode or the first 2 were kind of a bit like a little kind of whatever. It wasn't bad, but it was okay.
It's just set up.
Yeah, Skeleton Knight has been good, bad, good, boring, good, bad.
The worst episode for me was Skeleton Knight was the second one. That second one could have completely got taken out, besides maybe 2 minutes of him getting his license. Yeah. And then that's it. After that, the whole part of him doing other stuff, why?
Yeah. And Spy X Family, this 5th episode, when I started watching it, I was like, maybe this is the one that's not good. And then they start the whole fucking thing. And I'm like, nah, this is, how do you not? You know what I mean? Like, how do you not give this a 10? So like we have our friend who's like, it's okay, it's good, nothing crazy, I love you, Tony. I hardcore disagree. Like every episode has been an absolute banger, and like, what was it? Even like the second episode where they get the girl or whatever, and like Anya gets Yor, and like Anya keeps reading her mind, and she's just like, "Oh, I can't wear this dress because I can't wear a white dress because it won't get the blood stains out. At least if I have a red, it will cover the blood stains." And Anya's like,
No, my favorite, I think it was episode 4 or 3, one of them, when they were out and they're like walking around the city to like see how what it is to be like a high class citizen and whatever.
I think it was 3.
Or 3?
I think.
And they're like, "Oh, when do you want to hold my hand?" And like you're like, "Yeah, it's great." And it's like, "Oh, yeah, I gotta be careful so I don't break the spine like I did with my little brother when I hold him too much." And Anya's like, "I'm good."
I love that Yor is like fucking terrifying. That's what makes it scarier about all these guys lusting after her. They're like, fucking step on me, break my spine, and then like. It's so many guys that are like that, and girls.
They're not safe neither.
Everybody wants Yor, but there's just so many good things about the show. So I guess we've said our piece on that. So do you think that the show is deserving of the praise that it gets?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's getting a lot. Anywhere I go, they talk about Spy X Family. I don't even hear anyone talk about Shield Hero, which is sad. Cause
that was supposed to be like the flagship of this season.
Yeah, but it definitely took a backseat of everything. Everything is literally going with a Spy X Family everywhere, everywhere. The only other show for some reason, I don't know why, is that Shikamori is not just a cutie. Crunchyroll's very much advertising that for some reason. Besides that, Spy Science is taking everything, and honestly, it's well deserved because the show's just fantastic in all aspects
Like
so far.
maybe we do need like Tony to be here to like tell us his reason why he doesn't give it as high of a score.
My man said Hero was like number 3 right now. He doesn't have a reason. He has feelings.
He's gonna text us later. He's like, "Yo, why are you talking about that shit?" I love you, Tony. I love you, buddy. But like, yeah, I definitely do think it's deserving of its praise, and I do think if it delivers by the end of this season, like every episode is on point, like there's nothing wrong with this show because I have no complaints. Every time I think there's gonna be a complaint, they completely I almost hit my water bottle. They always manage to make it so much better than I think it would be, like in every type of way. Even like what's it called? When they're like, oh, we have to get to this interview, we have to do perfect, and then there's like the stampede of like, what was it, like a cow?
Oh yeah, they let the like animals go, and the headmaster was like, "Well, why would you do that? You said cause a disturbance or something like that." He's like. Yeah. But why would you do that?
And like keep like switching clothes for everything that goes possibly wrong.
Yeah, I was like, oh, they failed. How low did them get dirty? Like, we got this.
Then they changed their clothes like 2 or 3 times.
2 times, yeah. They did 2 times. And dude was like, what? Who does that?
But like, yeah, it's just jokes upon jokes upon jokes. So I guess you could say, in your opinion, do you think it'll, once the season's done, and say hypothetically that it does deliver everything that we promised, Anya's still best girl, yours tied for best girl, everyone fucking loves the show, do you think it'll stay at that number 2 spot?
In my enemy list?
Oh yeah. I don't know how highly it's ranked on the other things, but I keep hitting the water bottle.
I don't think it'll stay at number 2. I personally think I think it will stay in the top 5. Personally, I don't think it's gonna stay number 2 because typically after the season ends is where a majority of the reviews comes in.
Like Attack on Titan.
Correct, and like how Attack on Titan was easily 1 or 2, and then it dropped down.
Was it number 1? No, I thought
it was number 1 at one point, and that's when the Full Metal Alchemist people started downvoting it.
Yo, what is with y'all? Stop downvoting shit. Like Fruits Basket. If it was number 1,
Fruit Basket was number 1 at one point, and then it got dropped to like 9 because the people were like, "The fuck is this shit?"
Just let them have it. Full Metal's been on top for how long? And
literally since it came out.
Here's the thing: Full Metal Alchemist is in my top 10. Like, it is in my top 10. I've seen better shows. Like, it's a great ass show. Like, I love it. Everyone loves it. But like, there are better shows out there. Like, you could let someone else get some sun, like some shine.
Yo, they deleted Attack on Titan to 25.
25 is still a really good score, though. Still a really good score. I think people get...
You know, it's right below it.
What?
All right, so
is that Demon Slayer above it?
Yeah,
good season. I like Attack on Titan better, but good season. That's the entertainment, right?
Correct.
Yeah, good season. Really good. Yeah, I think that Spy X Family, I think it'll stay in the top 10.
Oh, so you think it's gonna go down?
We'll do a bet. Do you think it'll leave the top 10?
It will leave? No.
So
I think it will stay in the top 5.
So you want to bet it's in the top 5? I'll bet that it's in top 10?
Yeah.
What are we betting? I'm down. Fuck it. We'll bet. I'll buy lunch or a movie ticket.
We'll do a movie ticket.
Yeah. We'll see who comes out on top.
Stay tuned.
So if it goes outside of the top 10, I won't get the point. By the way,
none of us will get anything.
But if it's like number 6, number 7, number 8, then yeah,
you got it. Okay. Even number 10, obviously.
Okay, that's fair. Then, how about this? Do you want to make it more interesting? Then, do you want to do like you bet that it's in the top 10? I bet that it's outside of it.
You think it's gonna be outside of it?
Well, you're strongly thinking about that, so I have to go polar opposite, right? So like, I will bet that it goes outside of the top 10.
Okay.
Or do you want to do it?
No,
because now I'm scared now.
No, that's fine.
No.
That's perfectly fine.
We'll do the other one.
That's perfectly fine. I'll do the top 10.
No, we always do these bets, and I always lose. Okay, well, we'll do the 5 and the 10. How about that? But what's it called? Yeah. I think that it'll stay very, very high up. I think the only reason why Attack on Titan dropped was mainly just because they announced another part and people really wanted it to be summed up there. And I think it doesn't also help that they also did the final part announcement on the right before the last fucking episode.
Yeah.
Like, if you would have said that towards the beginning, I think it would have.
If people knew that it's not the final episode, because it was all leading up to it being like, oh, it's shit's about to happen. And now I think about it, did they even release like a release date? Like,
I think it's next January, like kind of similar to what we just had.
Is it?
I think. Don't quote me on that. It would probably be late winter, early spring.
So, but for sure next year.
Yeah, they said next year is the final season.
Final season, final part.
The final season.
Final season, final part 1.
And please, Mappa, let this be the last one. Don't jerk me around anymore. Sitting here teasing me.
Or end it with a movie. That's the only thing
Yes.
I'll be like, okay, that's fine. If anything, I'll probably prefer it, to be quite honest with you.
I would also prefer it. I would love to go see Attack on Titan in the theater. I think that would be so fucking cool.
And we'll drag Carlos to it.
I don't think you could pay Carlos to go.
I think Carlos will be convinced on that.
I guess so. But yeah, I think I could definitely see Spy X Family being up there with the greats of like Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer. I mean, I think when Demon Slayer kind of like does its next thing, I think it'll be solidified as like a classic.
Nothing but great things about Demon Slayer coming up on the manga readers. Like every other arc now is like this one, and they said that the next arc right now, the Swordsmiths arc, Village arc, is even better than the Entertainment arc.
Damn.
So I mean, if it's going to go nothing but up. So
would you say? And I know this is kind of a dumb question to ask because the show is not finished yet.
Mhm.
But could you see yourself liking this more than like a My Dress Up Darling or like the show that we kind of did the previous video like this on that we really liked was My Dress Up Darling? And I know those are two completely different shows.
Yeah,
but that was like the two secret hits that people didn't expect to be the hit of the season, and it actually was.
Personally think I might prefer Spy X Family just because what the Dress Up has is that what it does very well.
Yeah.
And the genre that it's going for.
Yeah, because I know these shows are two completely different genres. I know.
But my thing with Spy X Family, how great it is I could fit Spy X Family in like 3 different genres. And it's doing all those genres very well.
Yeah.
So that's why, to me, I feel like if you're able to do multiple genres perfectly great, I'm gonna prefer it personally. I do prefer the animation better in Dress Up, but
yeah.
I mean, that's nothing to say about the animation for Spy Family. It's still fantastic. It's just preference at that point.
Yeah. So could you see this being up there with like an Attack on Titan and stuff like that? It later down the line, like not like
for those kind of shows, it's a little hard because with Attack on Titan, it's almost like a quote unquote blockbuster like show anime, if that makes sense. Like those are the heavy budget, like multiple episodes to kind of get you more into the story and stuff like that. Now, if they continue with this and not just end it in like 12 to 24 episodes and it continues, absolutely. I do think that it could possibly end up going to that kind of level. But it's just, to me personally, you could say what you want about like, you could make a fantastic show 12 episodes an hour and stuff like that. But to really, really, really get into your story, more episodes to me are needed for you to be more involved in the show.
Yeah.
So
this is like very just like bullshit questions that are kind of just like, could you possibly like hypothetically see the show lasting as long as people want it to?
Yeah, but I mean, again, there's also shows that are way shorter that I still prefer. Like Attack on Titan has like 80 episodes,
86 or 7. 87 or
87, whatever, around there.
Yeah.
Demon Slayer has like what, like 12, 24, like 30 in the 40s.
24 plus 7 for Mugen Train, and then plus 11. So, or 26. It's around
like in the 40s.
It's like almost 40 or 40 around there.
See, for me, and I'm personally prefer that on that. Even with the little episodes that you can put down a fucking record.
I prefer Attack on Titan. See, this is a whole separate video right here.
But even the shirt, what's up?
I love both. We both love both. So it's not like.
But going back to the original topic, yes, I do believe with more episodes coming up, and it's because consistently shows that it's still being as fantastic going on. Yes, I do believe that I could go smash that.
The funny thing is I didn't think that there was a lot of shows that could really match that until I saw Attack on Titan and One Piece and stuff like that. Where like One Piece still, I'm still watching One Piece, but like it still hasn't delivered me a bad episode. Like there's never been an episode where I'm like, wow, that's really shit. Like, it was perfectly fine. But yeah, Attack on Titan's 2. I've never seen a bad episode of Attack on Titan. There's some that are definitely more like a bit more I don't want to say filler, but kind of just pushing it along a little slower. But like
we're gonna do another video with your One Piece when you get to Skypiea and see how you feel about it.
Yeah,
that's the arc where people are like it starts like drifting.
I had to kind of slow down with One Piece because I was watching seasonal anime. I'm still doing, in the previous videos, I said that I was doing a fantasy draft with my friends where they gave me 5 shows each, and I have to basically judge who gives me the best shows and who gives me the worst shows and stuff like that, and I'm still in the middle of doing that.
Still number 1, let's go.
For now. But yeah, and then especially with all these new shows like Spy X Family, Tomodachi, and all that stuff, it's really distracted me from watching One Piece. But yeah, I think that this show is incredible. You know, there's not enough good things we could possibly say about it, but like, it is what it is. Like, it's the best of the season for a reason. So tell that to Tony. So I guess now that we've said everything we've had to say about Spy X Family, before we go, I'll just say that, what are you watching? What's going on?
With the
in general?
In general?
Yeah.
Besides all the spring season?
Yeah, or just like whatever you're watching.
Because I'm for the most part watching all the spring season. So Tamagotchi Game, Shikamori, the one that you told me recently, the Dance.
Dancer.
Yeah, that one, which is fantastic.
You're really fucking with it?
Yeah, I could. Once you told me about it, I started watching it, and I almost caught up to it in one day. I'm very much invested in it now.
You see what I mean about the High School Musical?
Oh yeah, and I couldn't stand that episode. It was so like.
Are you talking about the one where the dudes get bullied?
Yeah. And I was like, dude, like
and he just starts dancing on stage.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, like do something, and you're like, nah, fuck that guy.
Yeah,
he took my girl. I just wanted her.
The one scene I did like about that episode though was when, because at first I was like, is this man about to start dancing on stage after he just got humiliated? And I was like, oh no. And then like as soon as you saw what it does to like Junpei or whatever, like you really are like, oh, like this really inspires him to like kind of like tell his friends and be like, yo, I'm quitting soccer, dog. Like this ain't it for me.
Yep, I'm gonna dance.
I'm gonna dance. I like how he's doing it. His friends are like, yo, stop that. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah,
you're a little too good at that, boy.
Yo, you been practicing?
You need to calm your ass down. But yeah, if you haven't seen Dance Sensor, it's just basically this guy who
from Mappa.
He from Mappa. Very different animation. I know people make fun of how long the people's necks are, and like
it's supposed to be like that though.
Kind of weird.
It's supposed to emphasize because the whole dancers aspects of it.
Yeah.
So,
but the animation for the dances is fucking fantastic. Like it's very unlike anything that you'll see.
I really like the opening too.
Yeah, the opening is fantastic because I keep saying everything's fantastic. Everything's fantastic.
I think it was a little corny in the opening because at the very end, like the opening ends with like. Basically, he almost like he's done with a play, and it's like like a bow, like thank you, and then you see right there, big old letters, Mappa.
I was like, yo, did this shit, us. So they're like, take that, Studio Wit. So good show. I think that more people should watch it. So if you haven't seen it, if you want something different, that's not just a fucking reincarnation in another world. I'm so fucking tired of these shows.
That's a smartphone.
Like I'm
That's a fridge.
Even though I'm still watching them, I still like them. But it's like, dude, like I'm watching Greatest Demon Lord gets reborn as a typical nobody. I just finished World's Finest Assassin gets reincarnated as a fucking aristocrat. The name is still stupid as hell.
The light novels, that's why.
The show was good, but like the name is dumb. And then what else am I watching? Fucking Skeleton Knight in Another Fucking World.
The dating sim.
The dating sim.
The reincarnated.
Dating sim is good though, because dating sim is so off kilter because it's fucking mechs and like weird
dating
like, game stuff, and you're like, what? And then him trying to find a wife. The only thing, if I had to complain about that show, is just the fact that I just don't like that he can't date the two main girls because he's a mob. I don't like that.
I mean, that's just him saying that. He technically could because he keeps getting promoted up the rank. So, well, he could marry the quote unquote main girl because she's just a commoner.
But he said he can't
because he's dumb. He doesn't know that she's just a goddamn commoner.
But spoiler alert for dating sim. I love the fact you saw the
he was trying to bang his mom.
Yeah. If you haven't seen this show, this man tries to hit on someone's mom. His rival's mom.
Like, yo, the audacity of this man.
That is to me the biggest surprise of this season. Where like I thought this show was going to be a generic show, and to be honest, the animation is okay.
Yeah.
The characters are kind of stiff. The fighting is not anything crazy.
Yeah.
But the actual stuff that happens in the show is so fucking good. It's like the biggest guilty pleasure show of the season, in my opinion. But yeah. Did I tell you I'm watching a couple of Cuckoos?
Yeah.
I started it. I caught up to it. I watched the 3 episodes, and I'm kind of mad at myself. I didn't start it earlier.
Honestly. Well, remember that one started very late for some reason. It didn't start with all the ones, but I'm also enjoying it a lot
because it's what Shikamori I wanted Shikamori to be.
Yep.
And it's not, once again, it's not mind blowing, but it stands above.
Shikamori itself isn't bad. The actual girl, is just the main character, the main guy. Yeah. It's just like I do not want to watch this dude just be trash the whole show. Like do something. And again, I prefer his friends. I prefer her. I prefer his parents over him. Like I'd rather have his parents on the show.
I even like the passive aggressive friend, the one that's like always smiling. You know what I'm talking about?
The short one?
Yeah, with the blonde.
Yeah, the short one.
Yeah, she's even funnier to me. Like, I don't know, just him. But like, a couple of Cuckoos is actually very underrated in my opinion, and I am really like glad that I started watching it. It's kind of a weird plot, I guess. But it's like where 2 kids basically get mixed up at a hospital, so they end up living with the wrong families, and they grow up and realize, oh shit. Well, you guys aren't my parents, but oh well.
I mean, like you already grew up with them, so you know they're your parents now. Basically, there's not blood related; they're still your family.
And then the 2 kids who got mixed up, they basically are promised to each other because of the parents, and basically they're supposed to get married. And it's kind of a little weird because the guy's sister, who he thought was his sister the entire time, is actually her sister, and for him, you know, he has to get with this girl that's his sister, and it's such a weird family thing. Like, and it's just like, okay.
The only real weird thing was that the sister is like found out that her brother is not actually a brother, and he's like, oh, wow, so we're not actually related.
Yeah.
Good. And I'm like, whoa, that means you had thoughts about this beforehand, knowing full well that you have blood. But that's a topic for another video.
Yeah. But so far, I would probably say that's probably the newest show that I've been watching, and I started watching Jormungand, which is a very weird, different show. And it's not weird. It's just about an arms dealer and stuff, which is, if you like very like a lot of action, guns, and stuff like that, I would highly recommend that show. Tony actually recommended me that show.
Yeah,
thanks, Tony.
He's probably the only one I watched it.
But it's actually very cool. But I guess that's it for today. Tell us what you think about Spy X Family. Do you think it deserves its praise? Do you think it's overrated? Your favorite scene of the show? Your favorite character? Let us know down below in the comment section. If you are listening to us audio wise, just like while you're on your way to work, driving, whatever you're doing, cooking, taking care of your grandma, Your dog's shitting all over the place.
What? Your dog shitting all over the place? All right, let me put on this anime podcast real quick.
You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. We appreciate any support. Even clicking on the video, it means the world to us. We really do appreciate it. You can, if you're watching the YouTube channel, you can get us audio only if you want to on any podcast of your choice, a podcast app of your choice. We're pretty much everywhere. You can follow us on Instagram. Please like the video. And my name is Hunter.
My name is Juan.
And that's the Headphones On Podcast Anime Edition. We hope you have a good day. So talk to you later.
See you.